जय कुंज बिहारी जय धामाधम जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना वनचार जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Very nice, Mataji. Hari Bol. This bhajan Jai Radha Madhava, it's a prelude to all the auspicious Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, anything relating to Krishna. Because this bhajan, Acharya says, it's like the anthem for Krishna, to glorify Krishna. So with that, devotees, we can read the Mangalacharan. One of us can read. Maybe our Baldesa Prabhu Bhashati Mataji.
Prabhuji. Harjan devotees, janmanām, all wishes Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manabhishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavang Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Savana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sojivam Sadvaitam Sabodhitam Purijana Swahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Savana Lalita Shri Vishanidam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radhakanto Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gauranga Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripe Mancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful, Prabhuji. So, devotees, we are in chapter 7. Chapter 7 is a very, very important chapter in the sense Krishna has been talking about the soul, then how the karma should happen in chapter 3 and again in chapter 4, etc. But from 7, he is really talking about his various energies. Whatever we interact in the material world, he's talking about those things, everything, our intelligence, our intellect, the taste that we have, the 5 senses, everything comes from only him. And then he says that, the four categories of people, jivatmas, who don't look upon Krishna favorably. They don't go to him. So we read that they are the Mudas, the Nara Adamas, and the Maya, Apratha, Jnana, and the Asuram. Those are the four categories. And then he explains also the four categories of Jivatmas who look upon him, they go and approach Krishna. For various reasons, though. He says Artha, Jignaso, Arthati, and Jnani. The four categories, he says. He says they're all good. He praises them as, very magnanimous souls. And then he would say that out of the four categories, the Jnanis are very, very elevated. And then he also says, Eka Bhaktir Visashyate, meaning even out of that Jnani, the person who has got devotional mood and who is wanting to know Krishna and serve Krishna, he says he's very dear to him. He's part and parcel of him, and he is also very dear. The devotee is dear to Krishna. Krishna is very dear to devotees. Now, this is a very important verse, devotees. Here, Krishna is going to explain when do someone come to that level. Somebody starts approaching Krishna. Krishna, I'm going through a lot of distress. Then we get little more inquisitive. Who is Krishna? I want to know more about Krishna. Then sometimes we approach Krishna for material, needs and wants. I want this, I want that. Somehow, please save me. I want to have a good home. I want good job. I want to grow in my job. And then the Jnani is one who really fully understands Krishna. And then this verse explains what happens after that. Even after you become a very good, a perfect Jnani, that's not the end. Here it is explained what happens next. So devotees, as we always do, why don't some of the devotees read this verse? How about we ask our Pavan Prabhu to read, and then maybe Mahesh Prabhu, and then one Mataji, Krishna Mataji can read.
bahūnāṁ janmanām ante jñānavān māṁ prapadyate vāsudevaḥ sarvam iti sa mahātmā su-durlabhaḥ.
Very nice, Prabhu. Mahesh Prabhuji, you want to try?
Prabhuji, yeah. bahūnāṁ janmanām ante jñānavān mama prapadyate vāsudevaḥ sarvam iti sa mahātmā su-durlabhaḥ.
Very nice, Mahesh Prabhuji. Can maybe Krishna Mataji, you want to read? If you can.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can.
Okay.
bahūnāṁ janmanām ante jñānavān prapadyate vāsudevaḥ sarvamiti sa mahātmā su-durlabhaḥ.
Very nice, Mataji. Mataji, do you read from English or you're looking at the Hindi Sanskrit?
Sanskrit translation. Sanskrit, sorry.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's, you can pick up much more. You will get the better pronunciation for the words. So, devotees, how about we read, one of us read the synonym and translation, and then let us look at the purport. I think two devotees can read the purport. Maybe one devotee can read up to the first paragraph, then the other devotee can take up the second paragraph. So first, synonym and translation. Who can read, devotees? Raghu Prabhu?
Yeah.
Go.
Synonyms: bahūnāṁ, many; janmanām, repeated births and deaths; ante, after; jñānavān, one who is in full knowledge; māṁ, unto me, prapadyate, surrenders, Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, sarvam, everything, iti, thus, sa, that, mahātmā, great soul, su-durlabhaḥ, very rare to see. Translation: after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Devotee, who can read the first paragraph? Purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Oh, sure, please.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals after many births, may actually become situated in transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. In the beginning of spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up one's attachment to materialism, there is some learning towards impersonalism. But when one is further advanced, he can understand that there are activities in the spiritual life and that these activities constitute devotional service. Realizing this, he becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrenders to him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Sri Krishna's mercy is everything, that he is the cause of all causes, and that this material manifestation is not independent from him. He realizes the material world to be a perverted reflection of spiritual variegatedness and realizes that in everything there is a relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus he thinks of everything in relation to Vasudeva or Sri Krishna. Such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna as the highest goal. Such surrendered great souls are very rare. Should I stop?
Very nice reading, Mataji. Let's see if someone would like to read from this, the Sanskrit verse, and then the paragraph. Or if you want to conclude up to the Sanskrit word, that will be also nice, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. This verse is very nicely explained in the 3rd chapter, verses 14 and 15 of the Shvetashvara Upanishad. Sahasrasirsa Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sa Bhumim Vishvata Vritva Tayatishtat Dasangulam Purushaye Vedam Sarvam Yadbhutam Yaccha Bhavyayam Utamritatvasesano Yad Annenatirohati.
Haribol, Mataji. Maybe Subal Prabhu, the 2nd paragraph.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees and Pranam Al Krishna Shri Prabhupada. Lord Vishnu has thousands of heads, of eyes, and thousands of feet, entirely encompassing of the whole universe. He still extends beyond it by 10 fingers breadth. He is in fact the entire universe. He is all that was and all that will be. He is the Lord of immortality and of all that is nourished by food. In the Chandogya Upanishad 5.1.15, it is said that Navai Vacho na Chakshusmi na Strotrani na Manamyaste Akaste Prana iti evachukshate Prano hi evaitani sarvani bhutani. In the body of living being, neither the power to speak, nor power to see, nor power to hear, nor power to think is the prime factor. It is life which is center of all activities. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, or the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In this body, there are powers of speaking, seeing, hearing, of mental activities, etc. But these are not important if not related to the Supreme Lord. And because Vasudeva is all pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 7:17 and 11:40. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Then.
Any more thoughts, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Then, yeah, here wonderfully explains, as we can see, Krishna is saying, after many births and deaths, actually knowledge surrenders on to me, and to me, to be the cause of all causes, and that is all such a great soul is very rare. So as we know, we have taken hundreds and thousands of janma mrityu jara vyadhi births, but a person who surrenders on to Krishna is very rare. And out of all that also, some of them will surrender in fully. So here Prabhupada explains that as we know that there are 8.4 million species, and we would have been taken different species sometimes in a animal body, a plant body, tree, and we have in fact even in human also, based on the consciousness, there are 400,000 species. Sometimes of course as devatas, and actually I was told that Prabhuji, each one of us has become Brahma in one universe or the other. But having forgotten our Supreme Personality, the Godhead, who is the Father. Yesterday was Father's Day. Supreme Lord Krishna is the Father, because he says that I am Bija. He gives the seed for everybody. So in this way, at some point, after many births, we realize that, it's like a chewing gum, we keep on chewing, but there is nothing. So these Janma Mrityus are like that. But at the end, after getting in contact with devotees, one gets an opportunity to realize about Lord Krishna. He is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So at that time, he will surrender onto him, onto Lord Krishna, and then he will think that everything in relationship Vasudeva. So whatever he does, whatever he do, whatever he sings, everything is Krishna in ISKCON, Krishna consciousness. That's the good thing. If we have to sing, instead of mundane songs, we sing Lord Krishna's song. Dance for Krishna. Cook for Krishna. Offer it and take it as prasadam. And kids, of course, we think that all these kids are Krishna's kids. We are just caretaker. Our home will become a temple because we have Krishna in our home. So in that way, whatever we do, even the food, as we said, we offer it, and it will become the bhoga. The bhoga will become prasadam, and we take it. So in that way, everything is centered around Krishna. And even all our senses are, when we are engaging in Krishna, like hearing about Krishna, listening about Krishna, smarana, all the 9 activities about Krishna. And then as we know that Krishna is everywhere, so that will become into Krishna consciousness. It's my understanding. Please add Hare Krishna.
Very nice explanation, Prabhu. Quite detailed, and you have given the background of the the verse. How about we take some more comments, thoughts? Mahesh, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah, Subala Prabhuji helped a lot to understand the meaning of this shloka, and I absolutely agree with what they say. Yeah, I would like to add a little bit more to that one from my personal point of view. Yeah. Since we have to take like so many births and deaths, and it is quite a big journey, and I know in one lifespan, I don't think anyone can reach the ultimate goal of like the supreme or the great soul, which is basically similar to the Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. So one of the important things here is that every life and birth, after birth, yeah, we are gradually going towards Sri Krishna. Yeah, and I know all of us have begun that journey together, and I'm sure in not maybe in this lifespan, but maybe in the future lifespans, all of us will be joining to that state where we will have the opportunity to meet Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. And also in some of the purport, Prabhupada Swamiji is giving us the the knowledge that everything is basically every activity, every cause and effect, everything is because of Lord Sri Krishna, or everything is his leelas. So no one should think independent of him. That means everything is what is happening, good or bad or worse, whatever. Yeah, it is just Sri Krishna's leela, and as a devotee, we should keep always in our mind that whatever is happening is happening because of the wish of Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah. And once we know or we have that phase where everything is looks and feels like Sri Krishna in our mind, then we are like we are saying, or when we surrender to Lord Sri Krishna with all the our devotion, then it becomes Lord Sri Krishna. So then you can achieve that in this lifespan also. Means you can become a saint or Mahatma, which is like very rare. It is not that easy to achieve that one. But if someone is determined and he has a full faith and full agreement with what Lord Sri Krishna is saying and what our Gurujis are saying, then yes, in this lifespan also, even though it is very rare, someone can achieve that one. Yeah. So only thing it needs the faith in the God and faith in our Guru and faith in the Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Guruji and Prabhuji.
Very nice, Mahesh Prabhuji. Pawan Prabhu, any comments would you like to make?
Yeah, I think both the Prabhus have very clearly explained. But what I kind of take as a one-liner, if we have to take, the Lord is saying that, the nothing in this world about us, which includes our speech, our thought, our actions, they are not they do not define us. What defines us is the prana, and the prana, which is what is the is the form of Krishna that is inside us. That is the prana that it kind of defines, and that gives us the power to do the other things like think or talk or speak or do any other things in our activities is is controlled by that prana, without which we are just a body, like a dead body, right? So that prana is what is Krishna, and that is the center of everything, without which none of the other things have any relevance.
Very nice, Prabhu. You have hit on a very important, the core of, who is Krishna. That Krishna is the center of all activities. Absolutely. Well said, Prabhu. Devotees, any more thought? A very powerful, and it has got a lot of, significance in various aspects. So we should, more comments, thoughts we all will be benefited. Raghu Prabhu?
Yeah. So I think everyone has added quite a bit already. As Krishna has said, after many, many births and deaths, you go through that cycle, janma, jara, mrityu, and finally one comes to the realization. And from the Jnani stage, he probably, he's reached at least the impersonal Brahman stage, Brahmajyoti. And from there, he then understands Paramatma, and then eventually he starts getting to Krishna. What he also realizes is that this material world is a perverted reflection, as it is described here, of the spiritual variegatedness. So, what is happening in the spiritual world, as I understand it, is that there is a transcendental love relationship between Radha and Krishna, and everything that's happening is genuine, as opposed to the material world, which is a perverted reflection. So the love here is not the same kind of love. It's more, it's tinged with materialism, and one day a person can love someone, and then later on there can be a divorce. We see that all the time going on in the Western world, or even in India for that matter. Uh, so everything, there's a lust, desire, a false ego, but in the spiritual world, that ego is true ego for Krishna. Uh, so he realizes that the real that he really belongs to Krishna, that it's a transcendental world, and so he begins to now totally surrender to the Lord, and he gives up all forms of materialism. He completely detaches himself from materialism, attaches himself to Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Very nice, Raghu Prabhuji. You mentioned true ego. So there is a false ego is that I am everything. I, me, myself. That's the normal, understanding of all living entity. They think first it is just I, me, myself, my family, the people I love, and so on. The true ego is what is the Krishna consciousness realization, is that it's called Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, meaning there are 3 steps. First, you try to understand and then implement. That's not the end. We are all implementing actually right now, but it has to be perfected. That is the step, that we may, we can get this done, as Mahesh Prabhuji said. We can get it perfect this lifetime. We have an opportunity to become the mahātmā. Krishna is saying durlabha means rare. Su-durlabhaḥ means very, very rare. That's what he's saying. It's possible though. So this mahātmā, great soul, we have an opportunity because we have done something good, either in our past life. And one thing though we have to understand, devotees, this verse kind of gives a lot of different facts also. Bahūnāṁ, janmanām. That means there are many births and deaths. So that fact is again established one more time. Manushyanam sahasreshu, he has already said previously, again he is reconfirming the fact that bahūnāṁ janmanām ante, that we are eternal. So that we have to understand that we have repeated births and deaths. It is not one-time deal that you come, you live whichever way you want, and you don't know where you came from, why you are here, where you are going to go, you have no idea. But if we follow Bhagavad Gita and good instruction from, all the instruction from Krishna, as explained by all the gurus, then we understand, yes, who am I? That is the true ego is, I am a soul, eternal soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I'm subordinate. That's the perfect understanding. That's what is called true ego. So this bahūnāṁ, janmanām is also very important. And then becoming mahātmā is very important but how would that happen? Prapadyate, surrenders. After getting all this thing, after going to Krishna for all benefits and material things, then we get clarified that, okay, this is not what I want. I want the perfect realization of God, Krishna. Then when he surrenders, he becomes a devotee. He attains this mahātmā level. The difference between a kind of a jnāni approach and devotee approach is that jnāni is detached. He attained the perfect stage of the detachment, no doubt about it. There are many jnanis who have done that. But devotees, they cultivate attachment. That's the main point we have to see. Attachment on what? Krishna. So there are many types of, religion, philosophy and everything. Some of them, they don't want anything to do with material world. Detachment, completely. They become monk. They would not interact with anybody. They'll have a very simple life, great realization, no doubt. They're very good. But we have to, devotees develop an attachment, which is a very natural emotion for all living entities. You have to be attached with something. That is why the bhakti process is much easier. It's not a competition or fighting between jnana and bhakti. In the ultimate perfect stage, it's all the same. But the jnana, the process, there are many, because what will you do with your attachment? You can say, I'm going to be detached. I'm detached with my family. I'm detached with my wealth. I don't want to do anything with the society. I can be alone. I'll go to some secluded place. All that are good. But what will you do with the mind? You can be sitting in a forest, secluded, but your mind might be wandering so many places. That is why, because that is the nature of the mind. To deal with that, we have to do attachment to the Supreme Lord Krishna. If we do that, automatically our mind, intelligence, intellect, everything is engaged. You have to keep it engaged. That is why we see that even in the in the Purana, we see that big, very renowned munis and sadhus, Vishwamitra, he did twice tapasya to become the Brahma Rishi. But he was not, first time he was not able to control the kama. The second time he was not able to control the krodha, the anger. So there is always something, even for great elevated sadhus like Vishwamitra. Ultimately, third time, he just completely meditated upon, the Lord Ramachandra, and he was able to achieve the Brahma Rishi. So these are all very practical. And maybe one jnani might also understand, ultimately, but he has to understand Krishna. That is the point. So Srila Prabhupada used to ask, if this is the ultimate position, why not we do it right now? Right? Krishna is saying, after you go through all the cycle of, coming to me, asking me something, then getting detached, everything, why don't you just surrender? That is the best part of being in the bhakti yoga. We begin with surrender. Now our job is to perfect that. We have already understood, we have accepted, and then we are implementing. Yeah, now is there another big task is left, how I can keep on doing it perfectly. So that is very important, that we should not think that this is not a destination. This God realization is not a destination in the sense we cannot say, I think I have understood everything. You got to keep on making more perfect, And then ultimately we may go to Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, we can be with the Lord, serve there. the Lord and the other devotees. So devotees, more thoughts. I'm seeing our very dear devotee Sushilpa Mataji is here. Baldesa Prabhu hasn't said anything. You would like to hear from him?
A nice discussion project by you all. So there's a similar verse also in the Bhagavatam. Muktanam opi siddhanam narayana parayana su-durlabhaḥ prasanna atma kotish opi mahamuni. So there's millions of who are trying to be liberated or to be perfectionist, but surrendered soul to the Lord Narayan, that means Lord Krishna, is rare, su-durlabhaḥ. Among they are also peaceful, prasanna atma, and that only be found kotish opi mahamuni. Even millions of muni, only one of them who are surrendered soul. Even Chaitanya Charitamrita said that Vaishnava has 26 qualities, but one quality that has to be there, and other 25 qualities may not be present, but it will come ultimately. That is the surrendered soul to Krishna. Krishna is Sharanam. So devotees who knows that Krishna is the only supreme personal Godhead and surrendered to Krishna, so he is in the right path. That is the Siddhanta of Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Back to Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, that's the key thing. Surrender. If you have all the knowledge, all the talent, all the strength, still if you're not going to surrender to Krishna, it seems weird. We keep on taking janmas and janmas, birth and death, janma mrityu jara vyadi. And Prabhu, you mentioned about Lord Narayana. Dear devotees, do we know what the Narayana means?
Noro plus ion makes Narayan. That means Lord is lying on his bed, and the bed of whatever Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Purush Avatar. So Narayan. Ultimately, the expansion of the Supreme Personal Godhead from Sri Krishna to Lord Balaram, then Chaturbahu in the Vaikuntha. Sorry, first Chaturbahu in the Vaikuntha, the Dwaraka, then fourth Chaturbahu in the Vaikuntha. Then from Chaturbahu, from Sankarshan, that is the Narayan in the Vaikuntha Loka.
Very well, Prabhu. Well said. The meaning of Narayana is Nara means all the living entities, and Ayana means the shelter, the ultimate shelter for all the living entities is Narayana. That is, the name signifies that he is the shelter for all the entities. Dear devotees, we must have heard the name Haryana, right? It's one of these states in northern part of India. That means Hari's Ayana. The ultimate shelter is Hari's shelter, Hari's home, like Haridwar. Sometimes we just say the name, we don't really look into the background of what is going on. We just say Haryana, 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 It is Hari's Ayana, Lord Hari's shelter. Haridwar is the gates for the shelter of Lord Hari. So, but very well said, Prabhu. Surrender is the key thing. And we should definitely, that is the first step in bhakti. And also that is the final step in bhakti too. We should be always surrendered. Here it says, and because Vasudeva is all pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee surrenders in full knowledge. So, how about Sushilpa Mataji? Did she
Hare
say
Krishna,
something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvatvam, all this to Srila Prabhupada. I was just listening through Prabhu, beautiful discussion and many points shared. Thank you so very much. So one point that you probably might have already discussed, but it comes to my thought in the purport, Prabhupada's, it's very clear that Prabhupada's purports are very clear and straightforward, like clean, no hidden facts or something like that, right? So it's said in the beginning, after many births, one would get to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that it's the ultimate goal. But then in the beginning of the spiritual realization, while one is trying to give up attachment, there is some learning towards impersonalism. A few Siddhantas, they try to hide the portion of the reality, the facts, and they emphasize only the goal, what they are trying to implement. But something that I am always relish and Prabhupada's mercy, that it is very, very transparent on what happens in which stage of the sadhana for the sadhaka to improve. And the other day also you were mentioning, Prabhupada wants everyone to be at the level of Brahmana. That stage to so very transparent on how Prabhupada gives, and that impersonalism is very true at one stage, where before we get to that taste of Krishna consciousness or the relation, right? You always say, all the acharyas say, the relationship is where the taste comes in. If there is a relationship, the relatives and the family, that's when we care more for them and so forth, right? Before that relationship, it's all like, okay, we have to take care, like responsibility and so forth. If there's no relationship, there's no love involved. So until that point, it's impersonalism. But then further advanced, he can understand that activities of spiritual life and those activities of devotional services. Once we understand that, I was in our family also, there's some meditation going on. The Siddhanta that they explain is exactly Bhagavad Gita. It's all translated from Bhagavad Gita, but then the focus is on the heart, meditating on the Paramatma, and then Paramatma in the form of Jyoti is in the heart. So let's meditate on the heart. But then the Siddhanta that we are going, we are with Prabhupada's guidance, is use all our senses for the pleasure of the Lord. Just sing, use our legs for dance, use our everything, eyes to look at rather than sitting and so forth. So very clear distinction on how the path of Krishna consciousness is compared to the gnani or yogi, or a very relishing path of devotional service to what Prabhupada is explaining here. Those are the 2 points that I wanted to share, Prabhu, from my realization. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure. Very nice, Mataji. And another thing in this verse, we see that the cause of all causes, sarva karana karana. Many things are included in this verse. First of all, we take many births and death. Then after that, one who has got some knowledge, and that person who surrenders, and that he knows that Krishna, Vāsudevaḥ, is the cause of all causes, and such a soul is very rare. So it may seem little, long, and sometimes maybe not achievable at all, because we are talking about taking a human form itself, might take, I don't know, millions and millions of births we might have taken, and ultimately we have received a human form. That itself, they say it's a very, very, su-durlabhaḥ. Out of that, the person who has got some knowledge about Krishna is very, very, very rare. And out of that, who surrenders is even very rare. And then how are you going to perfect it? That's also, I think we all have some surrendering tendency, but it is not all the time. It's not satatam. In the morning, I'm in a very surrendering mood, and in the afternoon, everything flies away from my mind. And sometimes I don't even remember Krishna. The material mode and comes and it's take over. It says, you deal with this problem. We'll think about it, Krishna, later on. I'll chant more rounds. But at this moment, I have to take care of something is bothering me. I have to take care of this myself. I think I can do a better job. At that moment, we don't even, like even Draupadi, we discussed a little bit the other day. Draupadi was thinking like that her, 5 great Maharathis, husband, great warriors, and they are very intelligent people also. When they are there, she's got nothing to. There is a long discussion between Draupadi and the soldiers, the kingdom security, who will go and they will say, "Come, Duryodhana is calling you." There is a lot of intellectual discussion between both of them. Draupadi will throw a lot of logistic that she will not come. She is the queen, and she will not listen to anybody else. But then the security will go back to Duryodhana. She would say that this is what Draupadi is saying. He said that no, she's no more the queen. Then she will again, use the logic. How come I'm not the queen? Then she would be explained that Yudhishthira has lost everything. Then she will come up with another logic. The Shastra says even if a king loses everything, he cannot put his wife as a pawn. But with Duryodhana, you can only, with evil people, you can only go to some extent about logic, truth, honesty, dharma, so on. After that, they will only do what they want to do. That's what is Mahabharata. And exactly the entire history of Mahabharata. Duryodhana, whatever, he rejected Krishna, he rejected Pandavas, he rejected all the dharma, and he never even cared to understand what is the problem, And finally, Draupadi would call for, "Hey Govinda, hey Dwarkavasin, hey Krishna, Gopi Janapriya, please save me." Right now, when she, lifts her 2 hands, that is Sharanagati, complete surrender. So how do we become like that devotees when some very challenging situations come to our life? What shall we do? Are we ready like that? Leave everything? 100% conviction. That does not mean we will not take material help, but with full faith on Krishna. Are we able to do that, devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji. In the sense, like Lord Sri Krishna is giving us in the previous shlokas, like just like you follow your swadharma or follow the duties which are bound to be done by you, and just forget about the phala or whatever the outcome of that comes, right? So if you know that everything is the Leela of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, and if whatever I'm doing is also part and parcel of that, so why should I worry about the outcome of that, right? So let me do whatever I have to do as per my swadharma. I think that will help a lot when we have like the time where we get tested, because we get tested every day. Like in the morning, as you say earlier, that I may be in a good mood and I am very close to Sri Krishna, but after later on, I keep like losing that momentum and I totally forget about Sri Krishna. But I think if we can make our mind in such a way that everything is Sri Krishna, every activity is Sri Krishna, and if I have that devotion in mind, I think it is possible to have that momentum going on whole day and maybe 1 year or the whole life. Yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on that one. Yeah.
Very good. Yes, Prabhu. Actually, you have mentioned a very good point. The Swadharma, the problem with this Kali Yuga is that most of us even don't know what is our Swadharma. Everybody thinks whatever he is doing is the right thing. You'll give 100 excuses for that. Oh, Prabhu, I know everything. This is why I'm doing it. I can do better. See, look at the political world, Prabhu. Every politician is saying, what is his goal? To serve the people.
Yeah.
But he's saying that guy is a bad guy. Don't go to him. I'll do a better job. This guy is saying he's a crook. This is going on all the time, right? So they think that is their swadharma, that I'm going to help people. That is why we got to go back to, we need the help of all the sadhus, the great acharyas who can explain us what is dharma and then what is swadharma. Then we will know, yes, there are kings who lived like that. King Bharata, Ambarish Maharaj, King Janaka, Yudhishthir Maharaj, right? How they all were, so pious, very successful. How were they able to do that? Parikshit Maharaj, how they were able to rule the entire world, right? So that is the greatest benefit we have by reading all the Shastras. Otherwise, if you're going to take all this, Mahabharata, Ramayana, as a mere, some kind of a fairy tale, it's not going to help. That is where the complete conviction, Vāsudevaḥ sarvam comes into picture. We have to take Mahabharata, Ramayana, all the Krishna Katha as pure and as truth as possible. There is no imagination in it. Right? And with the help of Vedavyas, today we are able to, and of course our recent Acharya Srila Prabhupada, we are able to at least understand what is dharma. Otherwise, everybody comes with their own dharma. Prabhu. Every day they are coming. They're saying, this is my dharma. I'm making a law. From today, this will be dharma. That's it, done. No question asked. What are you going to do? Right? So, devotees, we have a few more minutes. I just wanted to touch base with one more thing, but we may not have enough time. It may take about maybe 10 minutes. Maybe tomorrow we can try. Why do calamities happen? This is something in some of the devotees' mind, especially in the past week to 10 days. There's a lot of mishaps happening. The plane, the tragic plane accident. I believe there is another plane accident also. After that, one plane carrying 7 devotees to Kedarnath, Badrinath, that also had an accident and all the 7 people died. So there is a lot of question, that why such, and those 7 people in particular, they are going to visit Lord only. Kedarnath and Badrinath is considered as one of the most sacred pilgrimage place. Why would God, would he punish? I mean, somebody going visiting him. So there are a lot of Shastric, relevance to why such things happen. Baldesa Prabhu, you want to say something?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So they went to Lord actually, right? From Kedarnath, they left their body and the soul went to the Lord. That is the target, right? So Prabhuji, it can be well explained by the Bhagavatam again. There's a very beautiful verse that verse has to be our, we should hang it in our locket. 10:14:8 তত্ত্বে অনুকম্পান সুশ্রমিক সমানাহা ভুঞ্জনা এব আত্মকৃত বিপকম হৃদবাগ বপু রবি বিদদান নমস্তে জীবিত মুক্তি পদে স্বয় দায়ভা. So we can hope Krishna's mercy only when we endure the current situation, because that is our atmokito vipakam. This is the bag and baggage or package we bring from the previous karma, from the previous birth. Then we have to suffer no matter what. Definitely Krishna will make it lighter for us, but we have to suffer. So Bhunjana, we have to endure eba atmo pitam vipakam, the food results we got from the previous birth. But still, if we continue with BMW, body, mind, soul, to serve the Lord, we become the right appropriate, that rightful hierarchy to get Lord's, to go back to the Lord's destination. So this is nothing only is a previous karmas. We don't see, we don't know our previous karma, but God knows very well. And ultimately, keeping body is not the ultimate goal in our life. Our ultimate goal, our soul to be purified and go back. If you look at the soul's perspective, then we can accept it very well. But as long as we cannot see as the soul's perspective, that is Gita is teaching us, then all those confusion happens. Back to Hare Krishna. That is one.
Very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, you were given all the technical backdrop of what happens, the Janmam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. One thing we can do, devotees, we'll spend maybe a few more minutes next tomorrow. But one thing we can all do is that pray a little bit. Some additional specific prayers so that the departed soul, the affected souls and their families, whoever it is, they get an opportunity to reach a higher or the ultimate destination. The ultimate destination is Goloka, but go back to Godhead. So let us pray. And maybe, Krishna will accept our prayers and he will accept all the, affected souls and take them into, that is the best thing. The ultimate goal is to surrender to Krishna. Or at least they will get, another opportunity, good opportunity, better opportunity to fulfill their journey. Yeah, unfortunately, during a calamity, philosophy doesn't work too well because the affected people and family, they're in a different mood. Prayers work. So we have to do prayers for them. And then eventually when things get stabilized, we have to give them the philosophy also. Otherwise, they will be stuck with the sadness throughout their life. But at that moment, we have to give them only prayers, and confidence and, So it's a very complicated kind of a situation all over the world. But this is the quality of the nature of the world, material world, right? Padam padam yat vipadam. Bhagavatam says every step is a dangerous pitfall. Every step, we may not know, but that's what it is. So today, did we hear from Shalini Mataji?
I actually wanted to ask a question, but I think we are out of time. I wanted if somebody could explain a little bit more, maybe tomorrow, about that part where they said that everything that happens in the material world is actually a perverted reflection of what is happening in the spiritual world.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that is something we can discuss definitely tomorrow. Okay. And Venkatesh Prabhu, I know you maybe joined little later, I don't know. But Prabhuji's, Mataji's will definitely continue this. And Krishna is going to talk about now somebody has become a surrendered, that's good. But what happens to those people who are not unfavorable to Krishna, and then they are not also favorable to Krishna? They may go to several, devas and devatas and have their own. They are good people. They are following the dharmas. Okay. What happens to those kind of people? That is what Krishna is going to talk about from here. Okay. He's going to talk about what happened. These are all in the middle. In the first category, we saw that they completely reject Krishna. They don't have the time, or they don't have the intelligence, or they deliberately reject Krishna. The second four categories, they are very favorable to Krishna. And now Krishna is going to talk about people who are in the middle, neither there nor here. What happens to those? So we'll discuss some of today's thoughts, like Shalini Mataji's question, and maybe there may be a couple more items. So devotees, shall we conclude here? Or any final thoughts from anybody? Okay, devotees, go ahead. Go ahead, Prabhu.
I'm good, I say. And I have come to some questions, but tomorrow we can continue with those questions.
No, if it is a brief question, you can ask, Prabhu. It's not.
No, tomorrow, I think that's the best.
Yeah. If it is a question that can be answered only by reading Ramayana, it will take a long time. If it is a brief one, what are different names of Krishna? We can tell some of the names. But anyhow, it's up to you. If you want to ask, you can ask now, Prabhu. If not, we will carry forward. Oh, very good. Vanchakalpatarbyascha kripasandubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. ISKCON Temple Sankirtana ki jai. ISKCON Temple Bhagavad Gita Study Session ki jai. All glories to the wonderful devotee. Devotees are very important. Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Bhaktas. Without these three, they have to be, all three has to be there. If one is missing, it will not work. Because what will just Bhagavan and Bhakti will not work. Bhagavan needs the Bhaktas. Bhakta and Bhakti, but no Bhagavan, that will also not work. Right? So we need all three. That's what we are trying to do. Devotees, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.